how's everybody doing? I don't know who's there, who's not there. A couple people coming in, just started. How's everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me okay. Hey, Caroline. How you doing, honey? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Can you hear me okay? You're like the first one I seen. Maybe you can't hear me. Whoa. Can somebody let me know if you hear me all right? Okay. I'm doing good. How are you? Good to see you. Let a couple people come on in. How are you doing, Carolina? Tate, good to see you, brother. Good to see you, Tate. I'm glad you came because we're going to talk about some different things. Talk about cryptids too tonight. I'm doing good, Minnie. Welcome in. Miss Nay, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Oh, good. I'll check it out. Carolina. I will check it out. Good to know. I tried making my jelly, where I'm in the process of trying to make that muscadine jelly. I'm having some problems, like it's not setting right. It's probably me because it's the first time I tried making it, so it's not setting right. I don't know if I should. Hey, Anarchy, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I'm not really for sure if I'm doing it right, but we'll let some more people come in and talk about some cryptids, talk about New Jersey Devil and whatnot. Hey, Leedy, good to see you. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by, everyone. Yeah, I did. It's just I don't know. I don't know if it's the sugar content, because there's sugar-free pectin and regular pectin, and I don't know which one I should use, the sugar-free or the sugar one. I tried to keep it a little low in sugar, but I think it's having a hard time with the sugar-free one not setting right. But I could be wrong. About that. It's the first time I ever tried it, so I don't know. Thanks for everybody stopping by. Miss Nay, good to see you. Good, Anarchy. Glad you came, brother. We're gonna get in some things that just let the room fill up a little more. It might be all we got, and we'll just go from there. So Tate, I checked into. We're not gonna do it tonight, but since it's close to October, I want to get going on some different things, and I did look up the spring-heeled jack over there in England. Interesting story, spring-heeled jack, if you don't know about it. So we'll save that for next time, because tonight's more, I want to concentrate on cryptids more that are in a forest location, that people seen them in a forest. Welcome in, Indy. Good to see you. Or a wooded area. So next time we'll talk about some different folklore and whatnot. But tonight I want to talk about, again, just to reiterate, cryptids in a woodsy area or something like that, like Bigfoot. You got a whole bunch of them. Studied up on some I'm going to look up while we talk. If you haven't been here before, I'm on the side of my house in my backyard, basically. You may see occasional car go by out in that area. Out over yonder is a road, and you might hear or see an occasional car go by, or you might hear a dog way out in the background, but hopefully it's quiet tonight. A little cloudy, it's supposed to rain, but I missed last week, so we're gonna go anyways. So all right, see if we can get it up to 10, and then we'll start. If not, we'll start going. But I hope everybody's doing good. Neil, welcome in. Steve-O, welcome in. Good to see you, brother. Get up to 10, we'll get started. If not, we'll just go. That's cool, Andy. I'm glad you stopped by. I think I missed you last night. I got a little confused that you're going on Mondays. Got a little confused, Andy. So that's cool. I understand. I'm glad you came in. Yeah, well, yeah. It's not. We got some. We'll throw another log on there. We got some going. It's just not going that good. At a hard, well, not a hard time, but we got some going on. We'll get it going here pretty soon. Hopefully it'll catch on a little bit better. I got like 3 pieces. We'll throw another one on there. Bear with me, and then we'll get started after I do that. So. That should get going here pretty soon. All right. Okay, we got 11, so we're going to go. All right, we're going to talk about cryptids in the woods, specifically in the woods. So, first up, the New Jersey Devil. And I'm sure everybody heard this story. My brother used to live in South Jersey. I was hoping my friend Game was here, but he's not here. So Crypto in the Woods, brother. But he's not here because I heard a story in his channel, and it's scary. It sounded like he might have seen it. But we're gonna go in South Jersey and Philadelphia folklore in the United States. The Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature or cryptid said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. The creature is often described as a flying biped with hooves, but there are many variations. The common description is that of a bipedal, kangaroo-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked or pointed tail. It is also said that it has a strange elongated body and a thick tail. Has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. The Jersey Devil. Origin of the legend. Welcome in, everyone. So Mother Leeds' 13th child. So it's also the Jersey Devil, or it's also known as the Leeds Devil. And this is where it gets its origin of the legend. Mother Leeds' 13th child. The popular legend of the Jersey Devil, or Leeds Devil, is dated variously and attached to various place names such as the Pines, Pine Barrens, and Leeds Point. The devil's mother is sometimes called a woman named Leeds or Mother Leeds of Burlington. And my brother lived in Burlington, New Jersey. One of my brothers did. But other names such as the Shrouds have been forwarded. According in 1735, a woman named Leeds was giving birth to her 13th child and exclaimed, "Let the child be the devil." The child, though born normally, immediately grew wings, tail, and claws and flew out to the parent Pine Barrens. So I guess she had 12 kids. The 13th child, she said, "Let the child be the devil," and it was born regular and flew out the window. So if you're having any kids out there, anyone, you may not want to do that. May not want to do that. According to some, the child transformed into a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and hitting into the pines. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch and the child's father was the devil himself. Some versions of the legend also state that a local clergyman subsequently attempted to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. In a different telling, localized not at Leeds Point, but of Esterville, near Mays Landing, a Miss Leeds became pregnant around 1855 and rejected her baby, wishing a stork would deliver a devil. Thus, a winged devil was born and flew out the window. It would intermittently return, but the mother would shoo it away. So, I don't know. So, there's been accounts over the years. This is just me. And what I know of it, it's been accounts over the years of people saying they seen him. Like, if my friend Game was here, he had something. It's on his channel, but find that Game catches up and he tells a story that he made or ran into this thing, him and his friend. Hey, Ann, good to see you. Red Pill, good to see you, brother. Leela and Layla, welcome in. So I never seen it, but my brother lived right in the Pine Barrens, and it gets thick out there, even though it's the Pine Barrens. I know I have a lot of people from the West Coast here, but just a big pine forest in New Jersey, and it stretches for a good deal. So could there be something? I'm not here to talk you into there's something out there. I'm just here to tell you the story, and you can make up your own mind if you believe it or not. So I don't know. It seems like over the years, hey Jane, good to see you. Over the years, people talked about it. Probably back then in the early America. You know, nowadays we have TVs, internet, but back then they told stories, so maybe it was just a legend that got around. Hey Cola, welcome in. They got around and they didn't have things to entertain them, so a lot of people told stories and they didn't have TVs and stuff like we do. So who knows? I'm not saying I believe it, but a lot of people claim they seen it. So let's talk about the Leeds family. Prior to early 1900s, the Jersey Devil was referred to as the Leeds Devil or the Devil of Leeds, either in connection with local Leeds family or the monotonous Leeds Point in South Jersey. So let me skip ahead. All right. A historian from Keene University theorizes that the story of Mother Leeds, rather than being based on a single historical person alone, originated from the reputation of a local Leeds family in the southern portion of colonial area province of New Jersey, where the religious political disputes became the subject of folklore and gossip among the local population. Regal contends the folk legends concerning these historical disputes evolved over the years and ultimately resulted in a modern popular legend of the Jersey Devil. During the early 20th century, Regal contends that the colonial era political intrigue involving early New Jersey politicians, now listen to this, Benjamin Franklin and Franklin's rival almanac publisher Daniel Leeds, so one of Benjamin Franklin's rivals at the time, resulted in the Leeds family being described as monsters. So I bet you didn't know that. So Benjamin Franklin had a rival with a man named Daniel Leeds, Leeds Devil. He described the family as being monsters, allegedly, and it was Daniel Lee's negative description as the Lee's devil rather than any actual creature that created the later legend of the Jersey Devil. So obviously people in New Jersey are talk about the story, named the hockey team after the New Jersey Devils. So I just thought that was interesting that Benjamin Franklin's number one rival in life, Daniel Leeds, the Leeds Devil, is where the story could be from. Much like the mother Leeds of the Jersey Devil myth, Daniel Leeds' third wife was given birth to 9 children. So a large number of children even for the time. Leeds' second wife and first daughter had both died during childbirth. Leeds and his family were prominent in the South Jersey and the Pine Barrens area. As a royal surveyor with a strong allegiance to the British crown, Leeds had surveyed and acquired the land in the Egg Harbor area located within the Pine Barrens. The land was inherited by Leeds' sons and family is now known as Leeds Point, one of the areas in the Pine Barrens currently most associated with the Jersey Devil legend and alleged Jersey Devil sighting. So that's interesting. I don't know. I know people that went camping out there said they heard things and fly above them. Not really for sure. So I don't know. New Jersey Devil. So here's one. Let me know what you think about it. Here's one I'm going to look up, so bear with me while I pull it up. This will make you laugh. All right. For those that don't know, I'm from Maryland. So we got 2 different ones in Maryland. And the first one I want to talk about is something called a snallygaster. Spell it Snallygaster. Snallygaster. And we'll talk about it. So, kind of funny name to me. But it's located, I have a camping video. If you ever seen the movie The Blair Witch, Burkittsville, Maryland, there's a mountain that runs by that town called South Mountain. I've camped up there many a times. I have videos on my page right now that show me camping up there. But this one, so basically this is where the snallygaster was seen. So read about the snallygaster. Again, we're talking about cryptids in American folklore that you may or may not see in the woods. Okay, in American folklore, the snallygaster is a bird reptile chimera originating in the superstitions of early German immigrants, later combined with newspaper reports of the monster. Early sightings associated with the snallygaster with Frederick County, Maryland, especially the areas of South Mountain, Braddock Heights, and the Middletown Valley. Later reports would expand on sightings encompassing an area to include Central Maryland, Berkeley County, West Virginia, and the D.C. metro area. Trying to get to one of the stories, but of it. And I know that, so the President Roosevelt was going to cancel a hunting trip that he had out in Africa to look for this thing. That's how many people thought the Gaster was really out there, that the own president of the United States is going to go hunt this thing in the mountains of Maryland. So I'm just going to pull up the story here. So I thought that was reading about that. A snallygaster is American slang. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. So I thought that was weird that the own president was going to go hunt this thing. Okay. The snallygaster is a legendary dragon-like winged monster from Maryland in Appalachian folklore. Often described as a hybrid of a bird and a reptile with sharp claws and a blood-draining beak. The term may have roots in German folklore or 1900s political slang, with the legend gaining widespread attention in newspapers around 1909. Today, the snallygaster appears in popular culture, including games in the Harry Potter universe, but its existence is debated, with some theories suggesting it is a myth, a misidentification of a real creature, or potentially a story of racist origins. Everything's racist, even the snallygaster. So, German roots. English settlers adapted this to the snallyga, which evolved into the snallygaster. Early settlers in Frederick County, Maryland, brought tales of a creature called the Schneidergeist, meaning quick spirit. Physical descriptions vary, but most agree on a creature with enormous wings, a large beak, and a steel-hooked talon, with some tales adding tentacles and a metallic-like hide. All right, the sightings. In 1909, newspaper hype. The legend exploded in the early 1900s, where local newspapers began reporting widespread sightings of the beast, leading to widespread panic and fear. And there was a media frenzy. This created a media event similar to modern-day viral news, with the Smithsonian and even President Theodore Roosevelt expressing interest in the creature. The truth behind the legend. Myth and reality. The snallygaster is considered by many to be a myth, a story spread by the media, or a product of collective imagination. And then it says it could have racist origins. Some historians argue the legend had racist roots, used to intimidate black people in Western Maryland. And then in the pop culture, the legend lives on in modern media, featuring video games like Fallout 76 and the book Fantastic Beasts, as well as an annual beer festival in DC called the Snallygaster. So thought that was interesting too. I think it's a funny name, the Snallygaster. So keep on going up. Hey Jane, good to see you. All right. So we got New Jersey Devil, Snallygaster, and next up, talk about Mothman. Now, I'm sure a lot of people heard. Hey Borders, good to see you, brother. Welcome in. Mothman is a well-known cryptid from West Virginia folklore, first reported in 1966 as a large winged humanoid creature with glowing red eyes. The legend states that Mothman is an omen of disaster, with its most infamous sighting occurring just before the collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967, which resulted in 46 deaths. While the creature itself is not real, the legend has become an internationally recognized part of American folklore, drawing visitors to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, which embraces the Mothman character. So I've heard people talk about the Mothman. They got a statue in that town. I like to go out there one day. I've drove by it before, but I've never been to the town, but I've seen the statue. of the Mothman. So I don't know, but a lot of people say they see the Mothman and before a disaster hits. So I don't know. All right, let's go to the origins of the story of the legend. First sighting, the legend began in November 1966 when two couples reported seeing a large winged creature with red eyes near the old TNT Dome bunker in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And then the media, of course, you always got the media. The local paper reported the sighting, sparking a citywide hunt for the creature and creating a legend that grew over the next year. Hey, not welcome in. Good to see you, brother. Mothman is typically described as a 6 to 7 foot tall, slender winged human like creature with a wingspan of up to 10 feet. Glowing red eyes. Its most distinctive feature is its large, glowing red eyes. Unnatural abilities. Witnesses have reported seeing Mothman as able to fly at high speeds without flapping its wings. So it's kind of creepy. Just flap it once and he just flies real high without even flapping them again. The Omen of Doom. Silver Bridge, the most famous associated with Mothman, is its alleged appearance on the Silver Bridge just before the collapse in December 1967. And they say the Mothman is a harbinger of tragedy. Many believe the creature is a harbinger of doom, with sightings linked to other potential disasters such as earthquakes and tsunamis. And today, Mothman in Point Pleasant has embraced the Mothman with a museum dedicated to the legend and a yearly Mothman festival. And Mothman has become iconic figure in pulp culture similar to cryptids. So Mothman of West Virginia. See if we can. So that was, I don't know, anybody ever hear anything like that? Or have seen the Mothman? Let me see. I know you guys probably heard the story. It's legendary in America, the Mothman. What you guys think about the Mothman? We'll talk about those three. So we got the Jersey Devil, we got the Snallygaster, and we got the Mothman. All of them have wings. So similar stories. Now, it could be that each area, so you had New Jersey, West Virginia, and you had New Jersey, West Virginia and Maryland. Maybe each one had a story of a creature looking similar that liked to fly up in the air, because they're all kind of similar a little bit. The Mothman is a little different from the other two, but all of them have wings. So I thought that was, I don't know, sometimes, now it could be they want the whole area to attract people to the area. Each area tries to make up their own story to have their person or cryptid. Who knows? Or maybe there's something out there with wings and people seeing them all up and down the East Coast. And each person describes the same thing almost, but a little different twist on it. You know, sometimes if I tell you a story and then you tell another person the same story, it gets changed a little bit, doesn't it? So maybe there's some truths to that. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting as far as that each one of those are very similar. They all have wings, and they're all creepy, and they're all found in the woods. So let's see what else we got here. Um, thought it was like very interesting that each of the stories are the same. I'm gonna pull something else up here. So, anybody got any thoughts on that? Yeah. Hey, Rams, good to see you. Welcome in. All right, we'll switch up a little bit. Let's see. There was one Tate was talking. Tate still here was talking about in West Virginia. There's another one. I was reading about it earlier. Besides the Mothman. Let's see. The Flatwoods Monster. Flatwoods Monster. Anybody heard of the Flatwoods Monster? Well, you're about ready to hear about the Flatwoods Monster if you haven't heard about it. The Flatwoods Monster is a cryptid originating from a 1952 sighting in Flatwoods, West Virginia, where witnesses reported a tall, spade-headed cloaked figure near a crash-landed UFO, accompanied by an unusual smell and pulsating red light. While many believe the creature was a misidentification of a barn owl or other natural phenomenon, the event led to the widespread legend of the Flatwoods Monster, or Braxy, which has become a fixture of local folklore, tourism, and pop culture. The original sighting was September 12, 1952, on a hillside in Flatwoods, Braxton County, West Virginia. A group of local youths observed a bright, falling light and investigated a presumed crash site. They encountered a large man-like creature with a spade-shaped head, glowing eyes, a dark pleated skirt-like exoskeleton, and a strong pungent odor. Witnesses also saw a pulsating red ball of light hovering nearby. Some witnesses reported experiencing nausea and other symptoms after encountering. So we got all these UFO sightings lately, or they claim. Yes, it does. It really does. You know how everybody, the government's talking about all these UFO stuff lately. It's just interesting that this is, like Tate said, this is straight out of the sci-fi novel, it sounds like. So, interpretations and explanations. Extraterrestrial origin. Some UFOologists believe the object and the creature were extraterrestrial. Other theories suggest that sightings was a misidentification of natural phenomenon, such as a meteor followed by a startled barn owl or even experimental government aircraft. The monster is also known as the Braxton County Monster, or Braxy. It's where it got his other nickname, Braxy, from Braxton County. The story has become a significant part of local tourism, with attractions like the Flatwoods Monster Museum. So, I've heard of this actually, but me and Tate were talking about this a little bit more. And let's really get into the story here, the history of it. All right. Again, we're talking about the Flatwoods Monster, or Braxy, named after Braxton County, West Virginia, also known as the Phantom of Flatwoods. All right. Um, at 7:15 p.m. on September 12th, 1952, two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Heyer, said that they saw a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of a local farmer, G. Bailey Fisher. The boys went home and told their mother, Kathleen May. The four of them, accompanied by local children Neil Nunley, Ronnie Shaver, and Kathleen's cousin, West Virginia National Guardsman Eugene Lemon, went to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever it was that Edward and Fred had claimed to see. The group reached the top of the hill where Nudley said they saw a pulsing red light. Lemon said he aimed a flashlight in that direction and momentarily saw a tall, man-like figure with a round red face surrounded by a pointed hood-like shape. Descriptions varied in the article for Fate magazine based on its tape-recorded interviews. UFO writer Gray Barker described the figure as approximately 10 foot tall, with a round blood red face, a large pointed hood-like shape around the face, eye-like shapes which emitted greenish-orange light, and a dark black or green body. May described the figure as having small claw-like hands, clothing like folds, and a head that resembled the ace of spades. According to the story, when the figure made a hissing sound and glided toward the group, Lemon screamed and dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away. The group said they smelled a pungent mist, and some later said they were nauseated. The local sheriff and deputy have been investigating reports of a crashed aircraft in the area. So the local sheriff and the deputy, somebody said they saw something fall in that area, and the sheriff and the deputy were already searching for a crashed aircraft in that area. So I think that's interesting before they're already looking for it. So they searched the site of the reported monster, but saw, heard, and smelled nothing. According to Barker's account the next day, A. Lee Stewart Jr. of the Braxton Democrat claimed to have discovered skid marks in the field and an odd gummy deposit, which was subsequently attributed by UFO enthusiast groups as evidence of a saucer landing. So he had skid marks in an old gummy deposit. I know sometimes that happens, I guess. So, let me see. According to former news editor Holt Byron, newspaper stories were carried throughout the county, radio broadcasts were carried on a large network, and hundreds of phone calls were received from all parts of the county. Hundreds of phone calls. The National Press Services rated the story number 11 for the year. A minister from Brooklyn came to question the May family. A Pittsburgh paper sent a special reporter, and a UFO and 14 writers like Gary Barker and Ivan Sanderson arrived to investigate. So it's a big thing. They said over, let me see. Here are those dogs in the background. Let me see how many people. They said over hundreds of people seen it. So, sorry about the dog's background. We'll keep on going. After investigating the case in 2000, Joe Nickel of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry concluded that the bright light in the sky reported by the witness on September 12th was most likely a meteor, and that the pulsating red light was likely an aircraft navigating or hazard beacon, and the creature described by witnesses closely resembled an owl. Nichols suggests that witnesses' perceptions were distorted by their heightened state of anxiety. Nichols' conclusions are shared by a number of other investigators, including those of the Air Force. take it with a grain of salt that the government is trying to go the other way, look the other way on it. Welcome in. Sugar Bones, welcome in. Blue, good to see you. The night of the September 12th sighting, a meteor had been observed across the 3 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. According to Nickel, 3 flashing red aircraft beacons were also visible from the area of the sightings, which could account for descriptions of a pulsating red light and red tint on the face of the supposed monster. Nickel concluded that the shape, movement, and sounds reported by witnesses were also consistent with the silhouette, flight pattern, and call of a startled barn owl perched on a tree limb, leading researchers to conclude that foliage beneath the owl may have created the illusion of lower portions of the creature, described as being a pleated green skirt. Researchers also concluded that witnesses' inability to agree on whether the creature had arms, combined with May's report of it having small claw-like hands which extended from it, also matched the description of a barn owl with talons gripping a tree branch. But I don't know if you see something like that and you're with a group of friends, will you all, if you're all startled, would you all describe something different? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen something like that crash on a farm, are you gonna sit there and be like, oh, it has arms? You might notice the glowing red eyes looking back at you, but are you really gonna look at every single thing they have on it? So who knows, man? I don't know. I don't think they'll sit here and look at every account of this thing if it hit in the woods. You know? I don't know. Like if I seen, I'd be staring at the thing's spade like head. I wouldn't be like, oh, it has arms, it has legs. Make sure I get a good description to make sure. No, you'd be scared out of your mind, man. You'd be scared out of your mind. Now I know, I'm gonna try to look it up because I know a story that's associated with the story, that there was really a Air Force investigation and people saw the government out there looking for this thing. And there's been witnesses saying that they saw it out, they saw the government out there looking for it. So see if I can find real quick some references to that. But I don't know. I know people in the town said there's government, when this thing landed, there was people in the government all over the town looking for this thing. And then after a while, they want to try to cover it up or saying it's a barn owl. So I don't know, man. All right. It says the U.S. Air Force investigated the Flatwoods monster incident and concluded that the witnesses had seen a meteor and owl, whether resulting illnesses attributed to fear. So they were saying that they were just scared. The Air Force was involved in investigating reports of the unidentified flying object, including the Flatwoods incident. They concluded a red streak of light was a meteor and the creature was likely an owl. The Air Force also just suggested that the illnesses experienced by some was just a result of fear. So I don't know. I don't know. You had over 100 people seeing the thing come down. Now, I'm not saying, because when you see meteors, people see falling stars, but I don't know. And I think it's a little weird that the sheriff and the deputy was out looking for this thing before the family even went back to the police to tell them what they're reporting. You already had the deputy and the sheriff of the town looking for this thing, so that's a little weird, don't you think? But there's cover-ups all the time. We know that. You know that. A lot of people that come to my channel and that I talk to on YouTube, we know there's government cover-ups. Could the Flatwoods Monster be another one? Flathead Monster? Flatwoods Monster be another one? Is it a government cover-up? You let me know. Let me know what you think. I don't know. I don't personally, could there be something else out there? Could all these things be out there? I'm not really for sure. I'm not, I know the woods are big. They could be hiding a lot of things now. I'm in the woods a lot, and I've never seen anything like this. But that just because I haven't seen a lot of stuff. I haven't seen the pyramids in Egypt either. I just see pictures, so I don't know if it's true or not. So who knows? I think it's an interesting thing that the legends and hearing about stuff being passed over time, and we know the government lies and they cover stuff up, and this could just be another one. So thought that was or could these things be like the Nephilim still left over? Who knows? Like some people say Bigfoot could be a Nephilim, angels mixed with bad like that. Could that this is just some freak thing? You might see this stuff even more when they're messing around with human DNA and they create something that you haven't seen before, and you might be seeing and hearing a lot more of these things and having reports, people seeing strange oddities in the woods. We'll let this car go by real quick. So I like the study of it. Who knows, man? Me personally, like I said, I never saw it. I never say they weren't out there because I don't know. I don't know. Hey Eugene, how you doing, brother? Who's to say? Who's to say? Now it's a big universe out there. Are we the only ones there? Or a lot of people describe aliens thinking they're from other dimensions other than our own, and some people just think they're just regular creatures, so or I wouldn't even say creatures, or just other beings from outer space. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I know what I think, but you decide that for yourself. But love to hear your thoughts on the whole thing. Universe is really big. We the only ones out there. I don't know. Universe is huge. So I think it's an interesting topic, especially when they say they've been seeing, the government, all of a sudden they talk about it a lot. Now, has that been more sightings that they've been seeing? Why now? Now, for people that don't believe in them, how come we have drawings in caves back in the day across the whole world of triangular shaped objects from the sky? How come we have circle-like shapes from the sky all over the world? I don't know. It's interesting. You just don't see the stuff now, but all of a sudden the government's talking about it now, or is it just because they want to keep our eye off of something that's going on and want to keep us looking over here like a magician. You're looking over here while they try to pull a fast one on you over here. I don't know. It's a question you got to ask yourself. But they have been seen to come and talk about UFOs lately. It's in the air. It's just in the air more, and they emit a lot more than they were willing to talk about before. So I'm not really for sure. It's up to you. Another thing, I think the day before, sorry about the dogs, the day before Charlie Kirk was deleted, they had a Congress talking about, if I don't know if you guys seen this, but they shot a missile at an object. I don't know if you guys seen this stuff. Some, I don't know who it was, like if it's the Air Force, but reports, and I seen a video footage of a round object going across it looked like it was out in the ocean, and they shot a Hellfire missile at this thing. Now, you may not want to shoot a Hellfire missile at it. That's just from my point of view. But I don't know. And that was the day before the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened. So it's just I don't know. I don't know. You can go several different ways with it. So all right. We'll keep moving on. Thanks for everybody for being here. Got 52 likes. I appreciate that. Bear with me. I'm going to throw another piece of wood on this fire. We got a car coming by, so I'm going to chill out, and then we're going to get into some more. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. If you don't know, my name is Isaac, and this is SE Wolverines. Appreciate you. We'll be coming with more stories like this. Halloween's coming up, so we're going to get into some more stories about the campfire for y'all. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you're in the right place. We're going to talk more about this, but let me throw another piece of wood on the fire, wet my whistle, and we'll get back to some other cryptids you may or may not see if you're in the backwoods in America. All right, this one, I don't know if he's still here, but this one is known. This cryptid comes out of Florida. I don't know if my man Wingnut's still here. He may or not be. Appreciate him even stopping by. But this cryptid is out of Florida, and it's most well known as a skunk ape. Oh, he's still here. You ever heard of a skunk ape? Wingnut? Skunk ape. I was reading about this earlier. It's similar to a Bigfoot. And people said they've seen stories of them in Florida. Florida skunk cryptid is the skunk ape, an ape-like foul-smelling creature said to inhabit the state's swamps and forests. Though other cryptids like the wampus cat, mamba, and muck monster are also reported. The skunk ape, sometimes called the stink ape or swamp man, shares similarities with Bigfoot, but is distinct, known for the pungent odor and sightings in areas like the Everglades. While often dismissed as hoaxes or misidentifications, persistent legends and alleged evidence keep the skunk ape a prominent figure in the Florida folklore. So I guess this thing is stinky. No. All right, that's you, bro. Yeah, I heard of it. I heard it's moving to Alabama. The skunk ape, Florida's most famous cryptid. This tall, hairy, ape-like creature has a potent, unpleasant odor and has been reportedly seen in various locations throughout Florida, including the Everglades and the Al- Alfalfa River Corridor. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Alfalfa River Corridor. And a Wampus cat is a six-legged panther-like creature rooted in Cherokee folklore. So, the skunk ape legend is said to have roots in the 1940s, with multiple sightings reported in the 60s and 70s. It's described as standing 6 to 7 feet tall, covered in reddish brown hair, and emitting a terrible sulfurous smell. Sightings have occurred in various parts of Florida, with the Sarasota Sheriff's Department receiving 2 anonymous photos of the creature in 2000, which are now known as the Makaya skunk ape photos. Many reports are considered hoaxes, including a video that the Smithsonian suggested showed someone in a gorilla suit. However, the lack of definitive proof doesn't teeter believers who maintain the creature could still be out there. The skunk ape is a prominent part of Florida's folklore, captivating the public's imagination and even inspiring musicians. And so that's the skunk ape. So I guess it's just like Bigfoot, but it stinks and it's not as big as Bigfoot. But you heard of that? Anybody heard of that? Colorado squat goblin. You can look it up. Colorado squat goblin. Good to see you, Blue. Hold on. So there's a lot of stuff people see out there, different state by state. There's cryptids all over every state in America, pretty much. So got a lot on the East Coast. They're all over the place. I was looking up some more. Left my list in the house, so just kind of winging it. Bear with me 1 second while I look up some more. In Louisiana, there's the Honey Island swamp monster, also known as the Cajun Sasquatch. Is an ape-like humanoid creature similar to descriptions of Bigfoot, purported to inhabit the Honey Island swamp in St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. It has become part of Louisiana folklore, with many swamp tour companies in the area capitalizing on its alleged existence, which is considered unlikely by scientists. So a lot of different creatures people describe all over the United States, similar to Bigfoot. You got the skunk ape, got the folk monster, Fouke monster of Louisiana, and just different. There's ones in upstate New York where I'm from that I'm gonna see if I can find, but there are a lot of things like Bigfoot all over the country. I know in North Carolina there's been sightings, Virginia, West Virginia, It's kind of weird that again, is it the same story people hear and every state wants to attract, looking at it from a skeptical point of view, everybody wants to have their own Bigfoot or something like that, or you want to look at two sides of every story, or is the story true and that every area has its own? Maybe they're descendants of one another, roaming around America. I don't know. Let's get back to the Cajuns' Bigfoot. The creature is commonly described by alleged witnesses at being 7 foot tall, covered with gray hair, having yellow or red eyes, accompanied by a pungent odor. Other local names for the creature include the Louisiana Wokie and the Thing. Alleged plaster casts of footprints said to be from the creature showcase 4 toes, not a natural trait found in primates who possess 5 toes. So they claim they have casts of the foot. Claims of its existence are generally not considered credible, including by scientists familiar with the area like ecologist Paul Wagner and his wife Sue. Neither they nor the Cajun guide, Robbie Charbonnet, report have seen any valid evidence beyond possible forgeries. The first claimed sighting was in 1963 by Harlan Ford, a retired air traffic controller, had taken up wildlife photography. After his death in 1980, a reel of Super 8 film showing the creature was found among his belongings. In 1974, Ford and his friend Billy Mills claimed to have found unusual footprints in the area, as well as a body of a wild boar whose throat has been gashed. Today, the creature is still purported to inhabit in the bayous along the Pearl River. Local lore tells of a train crash that occurred near the swamp in the early 20th century, in which a traveling circus lost chimpanzees who adapted to the environment, offer a potential explanation of the creature's origins. So that's funny. A traveling circus. So that's another one. That's from. So I just think it's interesting that every state, pretty much every state, has a Bigfoot. Let's see. Even other countries, they've talked about having Bigfoot. There's the Yeti in Asia and the Himalayas, the Yowie in Australia, and they all describe a large human-like entity, sort of like King Kong, kind of something. Maybe not that big, but who knows? Who knows? And it's coming in. Yeah. Who knows? I read that, Blue. Who knows? I think it's interesting. So here's one called the Dover Demon. The Dover Demon is a creature reportedly sighted on April 21st, 22nd in Dover, Massachusetts, a town about 15 miles southwest of downtown Boston. 17-year-old William Bill Bartlett claimed that while driving on April 21st, 1977, he saw a creature about 4 foot tall with glowing orange eyes and no nose or mouth and a watermelon-shaped head on top of a broken stone wall on Farm Street in Dover, Massachusetts. 15-year-old John Baxter reported seeing a similar creature on Miller Hill Road the same evening. Another 15-year-old Abby Babham claimed to have seen the creature the following night on Springdale Avenue. So in Dover, they're seeing something similar. Seems like all of them were the same age, 3 boys in 3 different areas on the same night of a creature known as the Dover Demon. The teenagers all drew sketches of the alleged creature. Bartlett wrote on his sketch, "I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature," according to a local news report. The locations of the sightings plotted on a map lay in a straight line for over 2 miles. The sightings were not made public until the first half of May. At that time, a local investigator of unexplained phenomenon noted the similarities to the creatures in the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter of 1955, another UFO thing. Even though none of the witnesses reported seeing a UFO, the sightings were also investigated by the Mutual UFO Network and associated groups. So, it's same thing. It has been suggested that the creature may have been a moose, and a lot of people say it's being associated with an owl. So, I don't know. 3 different sightings, 3 different areas in a 2-mile stretch of the town of Dover, Massachusetts, looking very similar to the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter in 1955 and the UFO crash. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Here's another one: Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp. In the folklore of Lee County, South Carolina, the Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp, also known as the Lizard Man of Lee County, is an entity said to inhabit the swampland of the region, also first mentioned in the late 1980s. The purported sightings and damage attributed to the creature yielded a significant amount of newspaper, radio, and television publicity. Seems like a lot of people see like lizard people or like aliens or something of that nature too. So who knows, man? When we were talking about UFOs earlier, it's a lot of different areas of people seeing things looking like lizard people or swamp people or swamp men. But we'll go talking about the Lizard Man of Lee County, South Carolina. On July 14th, 1988, the Lee County Sheriff's Office investigated a report of a car damaged overnight while parked at a home in the area of Browntown outside Bishopville, South Carolina. On the edges of the Scape Ore Swamp, the car reportedly had tooth marks and scratches with hair and muddy footprints left behind. Sheriff Liston Truesdale noted this was the start of various claims that eventually see a story about a lizard man in the swamp. Prompted by the news of the vehicle damage, 17-year-old local Christopher Davis reported to the sheriff that his car was damaged by a creature he described as a green wet-like, about 7 foot tall, and had 3 fingers, red eyes, skin like a lizard, snake-like scales, 2 weeks prior than the incident we're talking about. According to Davis, he was driving home from working the night shift at a fast food restaurant when his car got a flat tire. After fixing it, he saw a creature walking toward him. Davis got in his car and began to drive, but the creature was soon on top of the car. He applied his brakes, causing the creature to roll off the car, giving Davis enough time to escape. Coverage by newspapers and media resulted in increased attention for his claims. Local businesses began selling Lizard Man t-shirts, and the local Chamber of Commerce encouraged the media attention as good for the community. So that's why I was saying earlier, maybe each of these towns just wanted to attract more people to the area. Maybe not, though. Maybe there's something to it. The increase in newspaper media publicity prompted further reports of sightings, and the area soon became a tourist attraction for visitors and hunters. So, in 2008, CNN, take it with a grain of salt, mentioned the Lizard Man legend in a story about a couple in Bishopville who reported damage to their vehicle, including blood traces. The blood traces were subsequently found to be from a domestic dog, though the local sheriff suggested it might have been a coyote or a wolf. Videos claim to be Lizard Man, allegedly taken by Jim Wilson and other unidentified individuals in August 2017. The South Carolina Emergency Management Division sent a humorous tweet regarding possible paranormal activity during the solar eclipse that passed over the area, hinting that people of Lee and Sumter counties should remain vigilant for sightings of the lizard man. So they're just goofing around, talking about, let's see what's chat talking about. So they're just goofing around talking about you may see lizard man. That brings me back to another one that I know of in Maryland that people talk about. And it's called Goat Man, the Goat Man of Maryland. Sort of like Goat Boy. You guys heard of Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live? Well, this one's called the Goat Man of Maryland. So, pardon me 1 second. So I heard this one when I was growing up. The Goat Man of Maryland is an urban legend about a half-man, half-goat creature said to roam the back roads of Prince George's County, particularly near Fletchertown Road and the Governor's Bridge in Bowie and Mitchellville. Popular origin stories describe him as a scientist who was mutated into a hybrid by a failed experiment at the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, or crazed goat herder driven to insanity after teenagers killed his animals. The legend is centered around the mid-1970s and involves sightings of the creature attacking cars, people, and even dogs. So who knows, like I was trying to say earlier, man, this could be a human hybrid or something. There's a lot of government facilities in Maryland. Who knows? Who knows with this one? A agricultural research center, or crazed goat herder driven to insanity. Who knows, man? Well, so it's primarily associated with the area around Fletchertown Road, Lotsford Road, and Governor's Bridge in Maryland's Prince George's County. One prominent theory suggests a scientist sometimes identified as Dr. Stephen Fletcher at the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center was transformed by a goat DNA experiment gone wrong. Another version describes a vengeful herder whose goats were killed by teenagers. He's known for being aggressive and bloodthirsty, often seen with an axe, attacking cars and frightening people. So you got the Goat Man of Bowie, Maryland. So that's kind of a weird story, like Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live. So let me see. Hold on, I'm just bringing another one up. Here's something out of Alabama, and I'm gonna get this fire just scraped up a little bit. Throw the last log on the fire, and we'll talk about the Alabama white thing, or white thing, cryptid coming out of Alabama. So appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. My name is Isaac with SE Wolverines, and I'm just gonna get the fire going a little bit better. Throw another log on. We'll continue talking about cryptids you may or may not see in the backwoods in America. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button if you have not. And I appreciate it if you're interested in this sort of thing, to hit the subscribe button if you like this sort of thing. And every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, we're going to go live. I'll try to make the announcement in case it doesn't, but like sent by Campfire, talk about different things such as this, other stories that, I find interesting. So I appreciate y'all hanging out. Get the fire going a little bit better. Stay with me, and we'll get back to the Alabama white thing. All right, get that fire going proper. So, let's see. All right, appreciate it. It's almost 70 likes. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's dive into some more cryptids that you may or may not see across America if you're in the woods. Let's see, the Alabama white thing is a cryptid from Alabama folklore described as a tall, white, furry creature with glowing red eyes and an eerie scream, often likened to a ghost, Bigfoot, or a giant cat. While descriptions vary, common features include immense speed, agility, ability to make terrifying noises, and a height of around 8 feet. Its origins are unknown, with theories ranging from a genetic mutation to a supernatural being, and its legend has inspired local stories, art, and cultural interests. I think it's a little weird that a lot of people see glowing red eyes. A lot of things contributing to red eyes or glowing red eyes. Like almost every creature that we talked about tonight has been described with red eyes or glowing red eyes. Now, is that just because they're in the woods and it's dark and people, or is there something similar to that? But I've noticed that most of these creatures that we've talked, cryptoids that we talked about, or creatures, whatever you want to call them, all have glowing red eyes, or descriptions of yellow or red eyes. So what is it? Many reports describe it as a white, furry humanoid similar to Bigfoot. Other accounts suggest it resembles a large cat, bear, wolf, or even a white tiger. Common features include glowing red eyes and an eerie, piercing scream that sounds like a woman or a baby crying. Just imagine being out in the woods and you hear something like that, like a woman screaming for help, or a baby crying. I've been deep in the woods and heard like shrieks, and a lot of times it's a fox. But if you're not aware of what a fox sounds like, it could keep you up at night. Let me tell you that. I have this video. It's a short on my page, and it's about what is it? It's something that happened in the back of my house where I'm at right now, and it was rainy out, and a shriek, just a high pitched shriek. I think it was a fox, but I'm not really for sure what it was. But back to the white thing of Alabama. The legend has been a staple of Alabama folklore since the 1900s, with stories told around campfires in communities like Etowah County. Theories for its existence include an escaped exotic animal, a genetic anomaly or albino creature, a supernatural being or guardian spirit, a misidentification of a common animal. And this thing looks, I know you can't see the pictures, but this thing looks like a Bigfoot, but it's white. It's white. The white thing has inspired books, graphic novels like Snag by AI writer Sarah Hill and other forms of art. Its legend attracts hunters, enthusiasts who trek through the woods hoping for a sighting. Locals in North Alabama, particularly in areas like Etowah County, continue to share their experiences and opinions of the creature. So, the Alabama white thing kind of looks like a Bigfoot, but it's white. Its fur is white. Now, could it be a Bigfoot and it's just old with gray hair? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Ty, welcome in, brother. Good to see you. So I thought that was interesting. There's also one where my parents live that's sort of similar to that in upstate New York. It's like a white Bigfoot. It's like the Bigfoot, a classic Bigfoot. Sort of looks like it, but it's a white Bigfoot. And it's just like Bigfoot, but it's white, basically, just like the Alabama white thing. So there's been sightings of something similar, very similar, but in upstate New York. So I'm going to try to bring it up here. Bear with me 1 second. All right. A light color, okay, white Bigfoot. Most notably, a light-colored man-like creature reported in the Hudson Valley and possible reference to a white Bigfoot on folklore near Belmont, New York. The term Bigfoot itself refers to a cryptid, a creature whose existence is unproven. These sightings reports are considered part of folklore or hoaxes rather than evidence of a real animal. Okay. The Hudson Valley incident in 2014. A witness and researchers reported seeing a big, light-colored, man-like creature pass by a window, followed by 5 such creatures in the woods captured on thermal cameras. A local legend mentioned in folklore the white Bigfoot of Belmont, though it's unclear if this is separate cryptid or variation of a white-colored Bigfoot. And then you have Bigfoot all in New York, other areas, sightings, but very similar to the white thing in Alabama, there's been sightings of a white Bigfoot. So I thought that was interesting. It's sort of the same thing. Is it a Bigfoot and it's just older, or is it something else? I just thought it was interesting that you hear different Bigfoots in each each things, and now you see reports of them being reported as being white instead of being like a regular Bigfoot. I'm gonna bring, so there's also reports of, bring it up, a dogman in Pennsylvania too. Okay, it's called the, okay, this is called the Brian Thien Beast. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So pardon me. Hey, Fortune, good to see you. Good to see you, brother. But this is a Pennsylvania dogman called the Brian Thien Beast. I could be saying that wrong. A Montgomery County monster that is similar to a dogman. The creature, described as a 7 or 8 foot tall, dog-like or werewolf-like identity, has been sighted in Brian Thien, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania since the 1990s. Eyewitnesses report a creature with a man's body and a dog's head, or a fully hair-covered creature. It is said to prowl on all fours before rising to standing bipedal position. Encounters have been reported in the area of Quarry Road at the county line near the historic Canewood Estate in Brian Thien. The first sightings of the beast occurred in the 1990s. The beast is not an isolated legend. Other dogman sightings and legends, some dating back centuries, exist through Pennsylvania, with reports of encounters in Claysville and Hermitage. The dogman is often compared to a Bigfoot as another cryptid. Some areas, like the Bray Road area, have developed the local tradition of dogman belief, with some accounts even featuring bear-like feet and bent wrists. Take what you want from that. But I don't know. There's one time I was camping in the woods, and we were in Maryland, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I heard a shriek, but it was more of a, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was sitting around a campfire. I heard a shriek, but it sounded like a high pitched, like coyote yowl, but I don't know, a howl. But I was like by myself, man. It's freaked me out, man. So I've been hearing like just about dogmen stories like that for a while now, and I don't know, man. I like hearing legends like this, hearing stuff about different dogmen and just different cryptids in America. I'm sorry. I think it's interesting stuff. So I think it's okay here. We're gonna stick to Pennsylvania. Stick to Pennsylvania. And this one is called the Pennsylvania, I don't even know how to say this, skunk. Pennsylvania skunk. SQOUNK. Skunk. SQUONK is a mystical creature that is reputed to live in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania. And it gets deep out there, man. If you go to like, what is that? Like Allegheny National Forest up in Pennsylvania, like northern Pennsylvania, it get those woods are thick. Those woods are thick. And then you have um, like northern Pennsylvania, but also like southern New York. And you got all the little towns from basically from Pittsburgh area to outside of the Poconos in Pennsylvania. And then in New York, anything from uh, Rochester to, I don't know, one of those what's it, Albany. Now there's little towns and little cities out there like Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, that area, but there's a lot of woods that stretch. That's a big area. So southern New York and northern Pennsylvania, that's a big wooded area. Now you do have little cities and towns, but like I said, there's a lot of woods in that area. For some reason, this area has never been developed. There was a lot of coal mining towns, like the old coal mining of Pennsylvania, and they did a lot of steel up there. But as you know, they don't do a lot of that anymore in America. So for some reason, these areas haven't been developed like the rest of the states have been. So southern upstate New York and northern Pennsylvania, there's a lot of woods, and it's thick. It is thick up there. I'm telling you right now. So the skunk is there could be who knows what's out there, man. Who knows? The skunk is a mythical creature that is reputed to live in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania. The Johnstown, Pennsylvania celebrates the skunk at the Skunk Kabpalooza in August. The first written account of the skunk, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but was from 1910 book Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods. His province was attested in the next written in 1939 book Fearsome Critters. This book suggests that creatures had migrated from deserts to swamps to finally settle in Pennsylvania. As logging camps were continuously moving in the early 20th century, this could explain their migration to Pennsylvania. Unlike many mythical creatures, the supposed physical characteristics of the skunk remain unchanged from the original written account, which states, "The skunk is of a very retiring disposition, generally traveling about at twilight and dusk. Because of its misfitting skin, which is covered with warts and moles, it is always unhappy. Hunters who are good at tracking are able to follow the skunk by its tear-stained trail, for the animal weeps constantly. When cornered, and escape seems impossible, or when surprised and frightened, it may even dissolve itself in tears." That's what it's described. So a little toad-like thing that looks like a frog, warts all over it, likes to hang out in the forest, and he's super sad, and you can track him from his tears. That's how ugly the skunk is. Later retellings included that squonks were the slowest on moonlit nights, as they tried to avoid seeing their ugly appearance. They're so ugly, like they don't even want to see their own ugliness. That's how ugly a squonk of Pennsylvania is. And any illuminated bodies of water. In addition to warts and moles, the creature was given webbed toes on their left feet. The given species means the Latin tear body. In Latin, tear basically is what it means, I guess, in Latin. The skunk's tears are a reference on Steely Dan's 1974 track, "Any Major Dude Will Tell You." Genesis included the song "Skunk" on A Trick of the Tail in 1976. A skunk is used as a monster in the popular book series Dungeon Crawler. Carl. So I don't know, the squonk of Pennsylvania. Wow. I don't know if anybody heard of that thing. Poor critter. He's so so ugly. You don't even want to see his face, his own face. That's when you know you're ugly. Your own mama, it's a face your mom can only love, but even your mom don't want to see you. That's how ugly the squonk is. He has a face only his mother could love. I appreciate y'all being in the house. We got 73 likes. And keep it going for a little bit more. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Can't believe I left mine. Bear with me 1 second. Look up this one thing I heard about in Colorado. Okay. These things are in Colorado, supposedly. And they're called Tommy knockers. And they're legendary gnome-like underground creatures from mining folklore, particularly prevalent in the American West, including Colorado, where they are considered cryptids. They're often described as the spirits of dead miners who may have warned others of impending cave-ins by knocking on mine walls, but can also be mischievous tricksters. Miners historically left offerings to appease them and to listen to their knocks as a sign to evacuate dangerous areas, called Tommy knockers. They have European roots, and the legend originated with Cornish miners who brought their belief in these underground spirits called knackers to the mines of the American West. Tommy knockers were believed to be helpful beings who knew the locations of ore, but also served as a warning system for miners. Just like the Mothman, if you seen them, a lot of people thought, they were warning that something was coming. While often seen as helpful, Tommy knockers could also be vengeful or play tricks, leading to disappearing tools or other accidents. The legend took root in Colorado's mining communities as Cornish immigrants worked in mines there. The belief in Tommy knockers became a part of the local folklore and even influenced safety practices, with miners leaving food and trinkets as offerings. The creatures are still mentioned in discussions of Colorado's cryptids and local folklore today. The signature knocking sound was a primary way of Tommy knockers' communication with miners, signaling the need to evacuate. Hearing a Tommy knocker's knock was a critical sign that a miner should leave the area immediately to avoid a collapse or a disaster. So that's a little weird. A Tommy knocker, looking like a gnome living in a cave, basically, living in a mine. So that's a little interesting. Let's see what else we got. There was one I was reading about in North Carolina called Let me see. It's like a like a cat. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. The beast. It's called the Beast of Bladdenborough. There is a town in North Carolina called Bladdenborough. And we'll read about that. The Beast of Bladdenborough is a legend from North Carolina about a mysterious, blood-draining creature that terrorized the town of Bladdenborough in late 1953 and early 1954. The legend began when the discovery of a brutally mutilated and drained animal carcasses, leading to descriptions of the beast as a large cat-like or bear-like creature with a long tail and fangs. Despite widespread fear and large hunting parties that swarmed the town, the beast was never caught, though a large bobcat was trapped later, which some believed was the cause the events, and the company panic became a significant local mystery, and they still celebrate the Beast Fest still to this day. The mysterious series of animal killings began starting with 2 dogs found torn to ribbons with their blood seemingly drained. Survivors reported sightings of a large cat-like or bear-like creature with a long tail, bushy hair, and large fangs. Some people like to call it the vampire beast, characteristic of a vampire-style blood draining from the victims' bodies led to the creature being called the vampire beast. The unsettling nature of the attacks and the descriptions of the creature caused panic in Bladdenborough and neighboring areas. Large groups of armed hunters from all over the state and country gathered to track and capture the creature. The story attracted national attention, with the mayor of Bladdenborough acknowledging it was partly a publicity stunt to help a small town, just like I was talking about earlier. Sometimes they make up these legends just to attract people to the area. Sometimes something could be a little bit about it, though. The beast was never officially found, and the mystery continues to endure. Today, the town of Bladdenborough celebrates the legend with an annual Beast Fest, and that is the legend of the Beast of Bladdenborough, which I thought was cool. Bladdenborough, North Carolina. And let's see what else we got. There was one, and then we'll do a let's see, do a couple more. Well, I'll do one more, and then if you guys got something you like me look up that you heard about, we'll do that to close it on out. Appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm gonna do one more. This one was saw earlier too, out of Michigan. Let's see. Called the Melonheads. The Melonheads. Trying to, some of this, we talked about Mothman, and some of this stuff, like the Melonheads, I didn't even know about until earlier when I was doing a little research talking about this. But it's called the Melonheads of Michigan. Also cited in Ohio and Connecticut. The Melonheads are beings generally described as large-headed humanoids with large craniums who occasionally emerge from hiding places to attack people. Different variations of the legend attribute different origins to the into these. Let me see. In Michigan, the Melonheads of Michigan are said to reside around Felt Mansion, although they have also been reportedly seen in the southern forest areas of Ottawa County. According to one story, they were originally children with hydrocephalus who lived at the Juncture Insane Asylum near Felt Mansion. So just a lot of times people just got big heads. Something's wrong with them because they have like water in the brain makes their head swell up. So that's how they describe these kids. The story explains that after enduring physical and emotional abuse, they became feral and were released into the forest surrounding the asylum. The Allegan County Historic Society asserts that this asylum never existed, although it was at one point a prison. However, the story has been part of the local folklore for several decades. Laketown Township manager told the Howland Sentinel that he had heard the tales as a teenager, noting that his friends referred to the beings as wobbleheads. Some versions of the legend say that the children once lived in the mansion itself, but later retreated to a system of caverns or caves in a nearby hill left over from an abandoned zoo. Some versions of this legend say that the children devised a plan to escape and to delete the doctor that abused them. It is said that the children had no place to hide the body, so they cut it up into small pieces, allegedly, which they hid around the mansion. Rumors exist that teenagers who had broken into the mansion saw ghosts of the children and claimed to see shadows of the doctor's deletion through the light coming from an open in the door. The legend has spread throughout the region, even becoming the subject of a 2011 film simply titled The Melonheads, which is based around the West Michigan legends. So the Melonheads. In Ohio, the Melonhead stories of Ohio are primarily associated with the Cleveland suburb of Kirtland in Lake County. According to local lore, the Melonheads were originally orphans under the watch of a mysterious figure known as Dr. Crow. Crow is said to have performed unusual experiments on the children, who had developed large hairless heads and malformed bodies. Some accounts claim that the children already were suffering from a disease and that Crow injected even more fluid into their brains. Eventually, the legend continues that the children deleted Crow, burned the orphanage, and retreated to the surrounding forest and supposedly fed on babies. Legend holds that the Melonheads may be sighted along Wisner Road in Kirtland, adjacent from Carlton Township in Guega County. The Melonhead legend has been popularized on the internet, particularly on the website Creepy Cleveland and Dead Ohio, where users offer their own versions of the story. A movie, Legend of the Melonheads, released in 2010, is based on the Ohio legend and various other legends in the Kirtland area. So now they did some the 2024 release, The Melonheads House of Crow, is based on the legend. So I thought that was pretty neat. The Melonheads of Ohio and Michigan. So they're not only football rivals, they got the same Melonheads around both the states. So let's see. And then the Melonhead of Connecticut. Several variations of the Melonhead legend can be found throughout southwest Connecticut, especially in the southern Litchfield County, central and eastern Fairfield County, and western New Haven County, Connecticut, and Fairfield County. Many tales can be found in communities all around Connecticut. There are several primary Connecticut variations. According to one variation of the myth, Fairfield County was the location of an asylum for the criminally insane that burnt down in the fall of 1960, resulting in the death of all the staff and most of the patients, with 10 to 20 inmates unaccounted for, who supposedly have survived and escaped into the woods. The legend states that the Melonheads' appearance is the result of them having resorted to cannibalism in order to survive the harsh winters of the region and to inbreeding, which in turn caused them to have the Melonheads. Some retellings of this version substitute the asylum or prison with places of business or campgrounds, and the inmates' patients with employee staff or campgoers. Individual variations will modify what town these individuals were originally from and where they end up. According to a second variation, the Melonheads are descendants of a colonial area family from Shelton Thumbold who were banished after accusations of witchcraft were made against them, causing them to retreat into the woods. As with the first version of this legend, this variation attributes the appearance of the Melonheads to inbreeding. Melonheads allegedly prey upon humans who wander into their territory. Like the first version, individual retellings will modify what town and the family was originating from and where they end up. A number of Connecticut-based legends of the Melonheads have one characteristic in common: the inclusion of a secluded, rustic, or single-lane dirt road running through the Melonheads' wooded territory. Many towns in Fairfield County and New Haven County have rural and forested sections, and it's not uncommon for these forests to have rural roads running through them. These roads at times are associated with a local variation of the Melonhead legend or are said to be part of the Melonheads territory. So that is it. That is the Melonheads of Ohio, Michigan, and Connecticut. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Got 76 likes. I appreciate it. Anybody still left around that wants a cryptid, me to look up a cryptid while you're still here? Anti-snack on cannibals. Good to see you. Anything I didn't mention, somebody read or anything? We got a couple more minutes. Appreciate y'all hanging out. The bellet heads. I thought that was a cool story. There's so many of them. I had a list I wrote down, and like me, I left it in the house. So there was some other stories I had written down. There's chupacabras. Hey DJ, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. There's chupacabras. You can look that up. We'll look that up real quick. Chupacabra. There's all sorts of. There's so many. First of all, I think this stuff's interesting. Like I said before, who knows what's out there? It's a big world out there now. Is it just legends? Like I said, back in the day, we didn't have TV, we didn't have the internet and stuff and entertainment like we have today, but people sat around the fire and told stories. Are these just variations and stories that people have told and they've passed on to one another throughout early America, and that's where we get them from? Because if you notice, a lot of stories sound a lot alike, with the glowing red eyes, the New Jersey Devil, the Mothman, all wing like cryptids. So see if we can look this up. Chupacabra. All right, we'll read one more about the chupacabra. And like I said, I might have missed it because the chat goes by when you're in a horror, like where the camera is right now. The look up the roll Cabrill. Okay, I'll look that up. Roll Cabrill. I'm gonna read about chupacabra and then we'll look that up, brother. And good to see you. But the chupacabra is a Latin America popular legend, a monstrous creature that attacks animals and consumes their blood. The name is derived from the Spanish words chubra, to suck, and cabra, goat, and can be translated as a goat sucker. As a fearsome but probably non-existent creature, the chupacabra has been characterized as a southern equivalent as the Sasquatch. The chupacabra only recently joined the vampire and the blood-sucking as a blood-sucking creature. Chupacabras were first reported in 1995 in Puerto Rico, where they were blamed for attacks on goats, sheep, and other domestic animals, supposedly leaving uneaten carcasses that were drained of blood. Early reports described a creature that stood upright and resembled a large reptilian kangaroo with huge red eyes. There's the eyes again. No actual specimens were found, and skeptics suggest that witnesses may have been influenced by the Hollywood science fiction horror film Species, which features a monster of similar appearance, but other sightings were reported throughout the Americas and as far as north as the United States. So it originated in Puerto Rico, and I've heard there's been claims of chupacabra stories all along the southern border of the United States and the states that all around the United States, really. A different type of chupacabra was also reported in many of the same places. These chupacabras were smaller and stood upon 4 feet. There were generally canine in appearance, but hairless. Actual specimens were produced, but they were identified by biologists, as coyotes, dogs, or canine hybrids. These animals owed their strange appearance to hair loss resulting from mangy. I forgot how to say it, but it's when mites like scabies get on dogs. And it was suggested that the canines attack livestock because of the infestation would bring out the wildness of them. So that's the chupacabra. Let's see. What was it called again? Hey, Cheryl, good to see you. What'd you want me to look up, foraging? My bad. A rogie or something? I can't go back. Hey, Snooks and Cheryl, welcome in. I don't know if you guys been in here. Hey, April. Rokaroo. Thank you, brother. Rokaroo. Ooh, I see it. That's creepy. Let me see. Rokaroo. Oh. The Rokaroo. A Rokaroo is a creature from South Louisiana folklore, a variation of French werewolf, often described as a shape-shifting wolf-like beast with yellow eyes and sharp teeth that prowls swamps and is used by parents to scare children into obedience. The legend explains a person can transform into the Rokaroo by being bitten, committing wrongdoing, or breaking specific religious traditions, such as those during Lent. The word Rokaroo is a phonetic variation of the French loup-garou, meaning wolfman or werewolf. The legend evolved in Cajun country and is a prominent figure in South Louisiana folklore, originating from medieval French myths of the loup-garou. The Rokaroo is a typical depicted as man-wolf hybrid with a wolf's head and a human body, possessing sharp teeth and glowing yellow eyes. They are said to inhabit the swamps and wilderness of South Louisiana. The legend serves as a cautionary tale, primarily used by elders to keep children from misbehaving, such as going out past curfew and wandering alone. A common belief is that breaking religious traditions or taboos, like failing to observe Lent for a certain number of years, could transform a person into a Rokaroo. That means a lot of people are in trouble. A lot of Rokaroos walking around, if that's the case, breaking religious traditions, because a lot of people break the tradition. So, um, another theory suggests that being bitten or attacked by a Rokaroo could transform the curse to a person. Acts of severe wrongdoing, such as deleting or serious cheating, are also sometimes cited as causes for transformation. So if you got somebody cheating on you, tell them they're going to turn into a Rokaroo. I don't know if that'll help, but to break the curse, another person typically needs to draw the Rokaroo's blood. In some versions, the curse is transformed after 101 days of drawing blood, and the affected person must remain silent for a year and a day, according to the curse. So I would feel that, because there's no way with my blabbity blab mouth that I could remain silent for 101 days. So if I turn into Rokaroo, your boy Isaac probably isn't turning back. I'll just be a Rokaroo living in the forest. So that's a Rokaroo. Y'all, thank you for that suggestion, Foraging. I've heard of it actually, and they are creepy looking. I didn't know about breaking all about the rest of the stuff, but now you know about the Rokaroo. Any other ones out there, y'all, that you want me to check out real quick? And I appreciate y'all hanging out. The fire's kind of dying out. Let's see how long we've been on here. Hi, April. Good to see you. Welcome in. Thank you for checking me out. Appreciate it. Saw Snooks earlier and seen Cheryl. Some famous Louisiana food that I forgot. Yeah. I'm sure their food's good. It's probably well seasoned. Good to see you too, April. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. You know I do. The Wendigo. The Wendigo. The Wendigo is a mythical monster, malevolent spirit from the folklore of the Algonquin-speaking indigenous peoples of North America, particularly in the Great Lakes region. It is often depicted as a gaunt, emaciated humanoid with ravenous appetite for human flesh, embodied greed, isolation, and spiritual corruption. The Wendigo can manifest as a monstrous creature or as a human transformed by cannibalism, extreme selfishness, or greed. Wendigos are often described as tall, gaunt figures with visible bones, their insatiable hunger. It is seen as a powerful evil spirit capable of possession of a physical monster that roams the wilderness. The legend originated from the experience of Algonquin tribes such as the Ojibwe and Cree during harsh winters when starvation led to extreme hunger and, in some accounts, cannibalism. The Wendigo symbolizes the human tendency towards greed, gluttony, isolation, and the act of consuming human flesh, a spiritual taboo. Stories and depictions of the Wendigo vary among the Algonquin people, with some involving the creatures as terrifying monster and others as a spirit that possesses humans. The association of the Wendigo with a craving for human flesh has led to controversial, now outdated mental illness called Wendigo psychosis. So they actually, what is it? The association of the Wendigo with a craving for human flesh has led to controversial and now outdated mental illness called Wendigo psychosis. So people used to have Wendigo psychosis. The Wendigo has been featured in various media, including films, books, often portraying it as a terrifying figure embodying primal fears of hunger and isolation. The Wendigo, looking creepy. Looking creepy. Wow. In Cree, for example, the Wendigo is believed to be an evil spirit that possesses humans. The spirit enters a person by biting him or her or through a dream. The possessed person becomes cannibalistic or otherwise deranged or violent. And that's the Wendigo. Creepy. Creepy. Wow, I can't believe I read that a couple times because I couldn't believe that was actually a diagnosis that they had back in the day. Wendigo psychosis, a craving for human flesh, has led to controversial, now outdated mental illness. What? What? Actually had a diagnosis. All right, Wampus Cat. I don't know if I'm saying it right. We're talking about crypt, cryptids that you may or may not see when you're camping in the woods in America. The Wampus Cat is a cat-like creature in American folklore that varies widely in appearance, ranging from frightful to comical depending on the region. Early references Early references from the American Dialect Society describe the Wampus Cat as a creature heard whining about camps at night. A spiritual green-eyed cat having occult powers or unidentified imaginary animal. Writing in 1951, folklorist Vance Rudolph described the Wampus Cat as a kind of amphibious panther which leaps into the water and swims like a colossal mink. The Wampus Cat was mentioned in the newspaper accounts of the 1930s in the Piedmont of North Carolina, where the creature was accused of killing livestock. Henry Tyron wrote a book in 1939, Fearsome Creatures, describes the Wampus Cat as being native to Idaho and having an amazing right forearm that works like a folding pruning hook on a panographic principle. He gives it the binormal forceps. So basically, it was a form that he could just reach out and grab like a bird or something right out the sky. And that's the Wampus Cat of North Carolina. But let's see what else. Let's see if we can find some more on that. Okay. The Wampus Cat originates from a legend of a woman who was cursed and transformed into half a woman, half feline beast for spying on a sacred ceremony by hiding in a mountain lion hide. This mythical creature, with its yellow eyes and chilling screams, is often depicted as a solitary, fearsome being that roams the Appalachian Mountains, known for its supernatural traits and associated with witchcraft. The core of the Wampus Cat legend centers on a Cherokee woman who defied tribal law by witnessing a secret ritual. To conceal herself, she donned a mountain lion hide, but her actions were discovered by a medicine man. As a punishment, he transformed her into a fearsome Wampus Cat, binding her to the animal's skin. The woman, now the first Wampus Cat, was cursed to wander the forests and hills forever, howling in sorrow and anger, unable to return to her human form. The Wampus Cat is described as a large, fearsome creature with terrifying appearance, including yellow eyes that were said to possess hypnotic powers. Its distinctive cries, often sounding like a woman screaming, serving as chilling reminders of its human origin. Some legends claim the Wampus Cat can walk on its hind legs and outrun arrows. The creature is also tied to witchcraft and has supernatural powers. Huh. The story of the Wampus Cat became a prominent part of Appalachian folklore with settlers and storytellers adapting the legend over time. Due to its terrifying nature and connection to the woman's curse transformation, it became a symbol of fear and cautionary tale in the region. So that's the Wumpus Cats, and that's the legend of the Wumpus Cat. Creepy stuff, man. Creepy stuff. So I don't know. Let me any other ones you guys want to go? I could stoke the fire, go over a couple more, or we could just call it a night. It's up to you. Let me know any more you got out there for me. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Like the Skinwalker. So I appreciate y'all. We'll call it a night here coming up. And we'll end it right there on the Wumpus Cat. So alright, y'all. Thank you for hanging out and joining me. My name is Isaac for SE Wolverines. How much time you got? I have 14 different primate. Well, the fire's running out. We could do one more, so I could stoke the fire and we can do one more if you want. Still got 16 people on. It's up to you. So what time is it? Like 1:16. So the Fisher Cat is the music. I'm gonna do one more if you guys want. Anybody got any other ones? It's up to you. Ford, you got any other ones? I could kind of stoke the fire. Bear with me real quick. Almost out. Anybody want to hear another one, or Forging got any more? Or else, if not, we'll just call it a night. All right, April, thank you for coming out. We'll call it a night, folks. I appreciate y'all. Let me see. Goatman. I went over Goatman earlier. I went over Goatman maybe before you came in. Went over Goatman. We'll just call it a night, folks. Unless anybody has one. Oh, yeah, we went over Goatman because from Maryland, I heard of the Snallygasser we were talking about earlier. I heard of the Snallygasser, and I heard of the in Goatman. It's like a big thing where I'm from. So I thought they were good stories. So talking about cryptids you may or may not see. What about goatfish? All right, DJ, thank you for coming out. Goatfish. Let me see. I see something called a sea goat. I could be overlooking it though. Yeah. We'll call it a night. We'll call it a night on that. All right, folks. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. SE Wolverines. My name is Isaac. So we're gonna do this every Tuesday around 11, give or take. And if you like things like this, things that go bump in the night, things about camping in the woods, and coming up in October, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. So appreciate if you join me every day or every Tuesday, excuse moi, at 11 o'clock. And if you enjoy Tales Around the Campfire, you're gonna enjoy SE Wolverines Live. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Have a beautiful one and take care. Isaac for SE Wolverines signing off.